everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. This week I went to see the new Mission Impossible movie, Dead Reckoning Part 1. And I did see it in IMAX, of course. As I mentioned last episode, though, I couldn't see it in proper IMAX up at Lincoln Square on the really big screen. I had to settle for decent IMAX at 42nd Street. But it was still a great way to watch the movie, and the movie is fantastic. It's actually one of the better entries in the series. I put it up there with Ghost Protocol, which is still my fave. This one's a close second. It's terrific. And I have to single out Haley Atwell, who is a terrific new addition to the series. I've loved her ever since Agent Carter, so yay for her getting a great role in the Mission Impossible series, and a good paycheck, I hope, too. And it's also funny because she's such an upgrade from Ilsa. No offense to Rebecca Ferguson, who I have liked in other things. She's the only reason to watch Dr. Sleep, honestly. But Ilsa, as a double, triple, quadruple secret agent, is all like mysterious and enigmatic, so she doesn't really get to have a proper personality. So like Haley Atwell's Grace shows up, and in one scene, her introductory scene, she gets more personality than Ilsa ever got across like 3 movies. So upgrade. And it's the villain. The actual bad guy is played by Isai Morales, who is super hot, as he is just cold and villainous and emotionally detached and creepy, and he's terrific. But he's like representing the real true villain, which is this artificial intelligence that they keep referring to as the entity. And it's kind of a bit much, even for this series. To fight an AI, it's sort of like, huh? But it's fine because the actual plot of the movie revolves around getting the 2 pieces of the key that will help them to stop this AI and destroy it. So you have a physical object that they are actually going after and that they need to get, so it's less all over the place. It makes sense and it works as a proper movie with a plot you can follow. But the action sequences are terrific. I don't know why they insisted on putting the motorcycle jump in all of the trailers and commercials. And I remember seeing an IMAX trailer that was like a behind the scenes of how they did the motorcycle jump. And I was like, why are you ruining this? It's a great moment in the movie, but it's like in every trailer. And I'm just like, but I do give them props for making the actual climax of the movie one of the best action sequences in the series. The whole climax on the train is spectacular. It starts and then things just escalate and get more and more insane and crazy, and it's just great. And it's also good because it's the actual end of the movie, as opposed to some of them where the better action sequence happens earlier on, so the actual climax of the movie is anticlimactic. This one ends really strong. And as a bonus, even though it's Dead Reckoning Part 1, and the rest of the story will conclude in Dead Reckoning Part 2 next year, this still feels like a whole movie with a beginning, a middle, and an end, and enough of a tease to make you eagerly anticipate Part 2. It does not end. It ends very satisfyingly, and I was very satisfied leaving the theater, as opposed to having a massive cliffhanger that resolves literally nothing and you have to come back for the rest of the story later. I'm looking at you, Spider-Verse. So, 2 thumbs up. Dead Reckoning Part 1, great movie. Go see it on as big a screen as possible, even though it'll only be in IMAX for a week because Oppenheimer comes out next week, so then it'll just be on regular screens, I think. I don't think anyone's going to double book it on IMAX with Oppenheimer. They probably have an exclusive, but whatever. Check it out on the big screen. It's terrific. As for games, I did finish the Final Fantasy XVI demo, so I can actually speak on it now. It wasn't just cutscenes with a couple of exploring and combat tutorial. Now I actually got to get into the story a little. Although it is still like 80% cutscenes with like a little bit of linear exploring and some fighting. Um, and then a boss fight. There was one boss fight where Clive fought this like big monster in the swamps, and that was kind of cool. And then later, after a bunch more cutscenes, then you end up playing as his younger brother. And then after you play as his younger brother for a bit, that leads into like this big like you're like crazy boss battle thing where you're like this magical creature fighting another magical creature and everything. But then after you do that fight and you win it, the next cutscene basically says, no, you didn't win, and now you're going to lose. And I'm like, what? Why did I bother? Why did we bother with that entire sequence? Whatever. And as I'm playing it, I'm like, okay, like the graphics are good, the combat is fine, I don't mind it as an action game, it works. The story is good, and I'm like, this is totally something I would pick up later on as a discount or free with PlayStation Plus. Like, it's fine, I would play this. But then the ending comes, and it was like, there's like this reveal, and then there's like another little plot twist, you know, like, and I was just like, wait, what? And suddenly, I wanted to see what happened next. I was like, I want to watch the next episode, you know? I was like, ooh. So, bravo to Square Enix for a very good demo. I feel like it gives a good representation of the game, lots of cutscenes, some minor exploring, and lots of fighting and action stuff. And the combat was not too difficult. I don't think I died. I did not die once. I barely used any health, which meant that like I would pick up a potion and it would say, well, you can't carry any more potions, so you're just going to use it. And I was like, but it's, and then then at the end, the story had some twists and turns and reveals, and you're like, ooh, I want to see what happens next. So bravo for a demo that actually made me want to go and pick up the game. Except no, because it's $70 right now, and I'm in the middle of Gotham Knights still, and there's a bunch of other games I want to play, and I'm pretty sure if I started Final Fantasy XVI now, I would not be done by October in time for Spider-Man 2. So, but because I am still playing Gotham Knights, I feel like I'm not necessarily nearing the ending, but I feel like I'm over the halfway point, maybe like 2/3 of the way through it. Not quite 3/4, but like 2/3 of the way through it, maybe. Because things are, the main plot is like escalating and things, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I feel like it's starting to escalate, and we're getting to the point where it's going to be the big grand finale and stuff soon. There might only be like a handful of main story missions left. So I've now gone back in to do some of the main side quests, not the miscellaneous crimes that you stop, but like the criminal case files for like Harley Quinn and Mr. Freeze and Clayface that are like your side quests that you do just whatever. And I appreciate that they all have like level recommendations where they're like, you should be level 18 to 21 to do this. And I'm like, okay, I'm 22 now, so let me get that out of the way, because then I can level up a little more, and then I could do the Clayface one that's like 22 to 24, you know. So I want to at least get those done. I'm not as concerned about all the story scenes anymore. After every major story mission, I will go back, when you go back to the Belfry, I will swap between the 4 characters just to see if there's any story scenes to unlock in the Belfry. But I don't play as anyone but Batgirl anymore, because it's annoying, because like I know Batgirl, she's a great character, she has some great abilities and good healing, which is helpful for me. So I'm like, let's keep her going, and I know all of her special abilities, I'm very familiar with them, and if I was to go play as Nightwing, I'd have to learn all of his special abilities, you know, and that's just kind of annoying. Like every time you switch characters, you have to adjust and relearn what their special, and refamiliarize yourself with their abilities and what the buttons are going to do. So I'm just like, it's annoying. I appreciate the game not forcing that on me, because then I'd get annoyed at having to upgrade them and upgrade their armor and weapons, and then use all their experience points, because they level up automatically with, you know, all the characters level up automatically, but you've got to go in and like use all their points to unlock all their skills and then upgrade all their weapons and armor. And then you'd have to relearn, okay, this is what this button does, this is what that button does, this is what that button does, and go fight. And I'm just like, no, let me just play the one character that I have learned and I know and I can play it instinctively and it's fine. So thank you for not forcing me to switch. But I do feel like there's probably at least a few more weeks of Gotham Knights to come. So next episode, I'm sure I will talk more about that. Plus, I've got tickets to see Oppenheimer, so I'll tell you what I thought of that 3-hour epic. Gotta make sure I go to the bathroom beforehand and don't drink anything. And who knows what else I might talk about. Come back and find out. Bye!